Welcome to the Plains Biome Builds. We are back here in the Plains for one final build before we move on to an amazing new project. Because this is the last project, I decided to go all out. You can see behind me, I've got all the plans already made for this build. This area is ready to go. It's way larger than I initially intended, but I think it's going to be a wonderful way to say goodbye to the Plains. But before we get too far into it, I want to give you guys a quick overview of everything I've done so far here in the Plains. You can see right behind me, we have a pretty large building. This is the centerpiece of everything. Everything is built around this. This is the longhouse. Behind the longhouse, we have a lox farm and also a 3-tiered crop farm. And of course, behind that, as of the last episode, we have a windmill area to grind up all of the barley coming out of the crop farm. Out front of the longhouse, we have a boathouse, which is large enough to fit a longship, and also a portal house, which I like to always say has admittedly way too many portals than I'll ever need. The last build I have here in the Plains is on the side of the longhouse. It is the outdoor recreation area. And that brings me back to here, up to the front of the longhouse, where we'll be doing our final build, the harbor. Let me give you guys a quick overview of everything I've got planned here. Over here on the left side, we have a slightly larger building. This building is actually going to be the docks warehouse. So, of course, this would just be where the crates and the cargo come off the ships and get loaded into this place. Over here on the right side, we have a slightly smaller building, and this, I guess, essentially would be the dock keeper's house. So we'll have a bed in there and stuff like that. Out front of these two buildings, we have basically where we're going to try to make it feel like a harbor. By the end of this, there's going to be crates everywhere, barrels, storage carts. We're going to really get those harbor vibes going. Hopefully. I think this is a little bit too much to do in one video. We'll probably be breaking it up into a part 1 and part 2. For the first half of this video, I'm going to do this whole area out front. And in the second part of the video, we'll do the first house in the harbor. All right, I'm going to get to work real soon. This place is going to start feeling like a harbor. Well, hopefully. And I'll see you guys in a little bit with an update after the first time lapse. All right, the docks are done. Check it out. Before we do a little tour and I explain how I did everything, I want to talk to you guys really quickly about what I did with the road. So you can see I decided to go with the path feature for the path throughout the harbor, and this is because it's very skinny. It's not going to take up a lot of land here in the harbor where I want to have a lot of details, crates, things like that. I just wanted to point out I did a tricky little thing here. I was using stone paved road up until here, but I knew I wanted to switch to the path feature, so I kind of just tapered it off into a little bit more path, a little bit more, and then we're fully at path once you get into the area. Now let me take you guys down the docks. I think these turned out really good. I love the look of these docks. Couple of key features. You can see we've got the difference in elevation. That came out really nice. We've got the corewood poles as our supporting poles. I love this look for docks. And then also you can see this detail line that goes around the whole thing. How did I do this? Well, first of all, I did a 2x2 meter floor with a 1x1 meter floor to make it 3 meters in total sticking out into the water. I think that was a really nice distance. Not too much free space, but enough to comfortably move around. We've got our difference in elevation. Up top, we've got some wooden shutters, which I guess will never be opened or closed, but that's okay because they look really nice. I think these look really clean as fences. And then over here, I'll take you guys to where we have our actual little docks that stick out. These are another really nice feature of these docks. I don't think these actually made it into the time lapse. In fact, I can almost guarantee you they didn't because it took me so much time to do them. Let me explain something really quick. Quick little tip from TFG. I had not worked underwater in quite some time and I completely forgot this tip. What you want to do is you want to raise the elevation of the ground everywhere to the same elevation when you're working underwater, just like you do on land. You want everything to be at the same elevation. When you raise it all to the same level, you only have to figure out how to place one pole. Figure out a method to place one pole and you can use that same method all the way around. So definitely try that out. Same elevation. You can see I've also added in a few lamp posts, just 3 of them. These are definitely subject to change. You know, they get in the way of thumbnails a lot with all the smoke, and you know, I'm not really sure where I really want their final placement to be, but I wanted to place them just to go ahead and show you guys another thing that will be here in the harbor. So now it's time for me to move on to part 2 of part 1, I guess. The second time lapse of the video. This will be where we call it quits for the day. So we'll have the plan for the docks done. You know, obviously we don't have all the crates everywhere and the little details, but we'll be doing all the little details with part 2 when we do the warehouse build. So let me get to work on the dock keeper's house. Check it out. The build is done. Well, it's not done. I mean, I still need to do the interior, but the exterior is done. Let me talk to you guys about how I did this. First of all, we've got a 4-high stone wall. On the bottom layer, I decided to add a little bit of a trim just to create an extra bit of texture. On the front of this build, we have a wooden gate actually as the door, which I trimmed out to kind of hide the fact that it's a wooden gate. We've got 2 wooden shutters, and then if you look up, we've got a couple extra details to add to this wall to make it look good. You can see we've got some trimming placed lower and outwards from the actual roof trim, just to create a little bit more depth, create some shadows. And then you can see that we've got a nice little framed out opening in the wall here with some iron bars. Love that. And of course, also, I always like to add a frame sticking out from my walls where my actual roof is placed onto, so that your roof is a little bit wider than your build. Now, as we go around this way, the first thing you'll probably notice is this little wood area. This is actually a solution to a problem. I have a large open space on this wall that otherwise I think is really boring, so I add a wood pile here. The reason I do a wood pile is because it gives me an excuse to add a roof, which I think is a wonderful detail. You could also add a little garden here or a storage area with a storage cart and some crates, whatever you want to do. Up top on the tower, you can see that we've got some crystal walls for the window. We've got some angled wooden shutters and some extra detailing. And then as we come around this way, you can see that this is the same wall as the other wall, but it's just a little bit taller. And because it's taller, we get some of that open space I was talking about on the back where I added the wood area. So up here, I decided to add a deer head trophy, and then I also decided to add a little bit of an awning. And I think this is just a really nice detail for any build. You know, kind of creates a little bit of like a front porch feeling, and you know, it gives you another roof, which I think every time you can add a little small roof to a build, I don't know, I just love them. I think it's a great addition. Now, I'll take you guys to the inside. I actually already love the interior of this build. It's really clean in here. It's really ready for decoration, actually. So that's what I'm going to do. Instead of doing a whole time lapse for this interior, I'm just going to go ahead and do it right now. All right, check it out. Interior is done. First of all, I want to show you guys this side. Here we have the dining room. Obviously, there isn't a lot of room in here to put a big table, but we've got some chairs, a little bit of a light source up above, and then also some windows tucked into the walls where you could open up and have a nice view while you were eating. Up top, we've got some extra details, some wards placed in the corner, and also a deer head trophy. Love how this opening on the wall looks on the interior. I think it looks absolutely awesome. Over here, we've got a little custom wardrobe. We've got stools placed on the bottom for some really cool looking storage. We've got some up above, and then a secret, well, not really secret, but kind of a treasure storage up top for the dock keeper. I guess they'd be taking in some money here and there, so I decided to put a little place for all that money. Over here we have a bed and some details on the walls, just some banners and a banded shield. And then over here on this side, we've got some of the same details, wards up on the top, deer head trophy, but then down below we've got some storage for the person that lives here. And then we have some tankards up top and an extra platter for entertaining all of your guests in your dining room. Now over here we have some armor stands. These I've actually put here, kind of the idea here is that maybe the dock keeper has some employees, and these are the uniforms for the employees. Pretty sweet uniforms. Over here we've got a little bit of extra lighting, and then we've got this staircase up to the lookout. Love how this staircase kind of snakes around the walls in here. It was really tricky getting this in and getting it to look good, but I think it looks great. Check it out. You got a really good view of the water, view of the boathouse, the longhouse. Really love this. You know, this is just a really cool little part of the idea of this being a dock keeper's house. A nice little view of the harbor. So that is that for today's video. Stick around for like 10 more seconds if you guys want to see some cinematic shots of the builds. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and of course, as always, have a good one.